be fair, it's not on that level, but you said something else, a game that has its like genre or something, like it knows what it wants.
Its own draw.
Yeah. There's a game that doesn't at the moment, and people are saying it's so generic. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's the Ubisoft game or the Ubisoft game that's come out, where it's like this. It's like everyone's saying it's not really Tom Clancy, but what's X-Defiant, and everyone's saying it's so generic, which it looks.
It does look
awful.
Extremely generic.
Like it looks all right, it looks playable, but it just looks like what we've already seen, like COD, back in the day and stuff. It's nothing new. Even like when you come to like the HUD, boring. There's something to look at. It's not fun.
Yeah,
it's not engaging. So I think that's quite interesting because that's.
I'm not sure what people are more mad about though. I'm not sure what people are more mad about though when it comes to that game. It's the fact that it looks so generic. Because don't get me wrong, it's like it's a case of if it ain't broke with a lot of things. It's like there's a reason that you don't see controllers with 3 sticks, or you don't.
Right.
It's not the same example, but like kind of equivalent there.
It's just not needed.
It's like. The FPS genre is so refined that you don't need to deviate it from that much.
Yeah, like, maybe that's what they're going for though. Maybe a simplistic sort of shooter, but then it does bring the question: is it Tom Clancy? Like that's
exactly
people
the other
also
part.
might hate about it.
That's the other part. I think people are more mad because it's not what you expect from Tom Clancy. It's like if it was a spin-off of The Division, I totally get that, because The Division it has its sort of narrative, but on the whole it's like it goes off the rail.
For Division.
It goes off the rails.
Yeah.
So but if it was like The Division as well, it'd be fine, in my opinion.
Go on. Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. And because they've got the Dark Zone IP as well with that, so that could have been something they worked in, maybe a first person Dark Zone apocalypse, sort of a freaky. Because I always remember with the first Division it being the second Division's Dark Zone. I haven't gone in as much, but it wasn't as creepy for some reason. The first Division, it was just one Dark Zone, one DZ, and it was the creepiest experience you ever experienced, because it was so. You felt so alone. You already felt
eerily quiet.
But the Dark Zone, right? The new one, there's like 5 different DZs, and they're substantially smaller. And it just knowing that there's other DZs, it doesn't feel as good. Like what I felt with the first one was you had the non-contaminated area, and you had that disgusting contaminated area where no one could go in without a face mask and stuff like that. And I just felt like that added so much isolation. But then knowing that there's others around, it ruins that illusion, I think, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't like Division 2's Dark Zones, but I feel that, like, back on topic, they could have done something a lot more Tom Clancy-wise, and maybe put those in a nice way, if that makes sense. I just waste opportunity, let's say. But who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows, man?
It
could blow up. Could be good.
Maybe, but it kind of circles back. It's like it would work as a Division, like a Division spin-off, but the fact that they use Tom Clancy, it kind of goes into that whole idea of like desecrating an IP. So it's like, I mean, there's a good way to change an IP's direction and a bad way, and Ubisoft have managed to do both. Because you look at the old, like some of the other Rainbow Six games, and there's loads of difference between them. I mean, Siege, like you look at Siege compared to other Rainbow Six games, it's like some of them can be wildly different. Like some of them feel wildly different.
Yeah.
But then you've got the bad way to do it, where it's like it's completely like just tossed out. Like Splinter Cell, barely know her, mate. It's completely tossed out.
We haven't seen a Splinter Cell in ages. Yeah, he's been like teased in every game, but yet he's not technically. No one wants that. They just want another Sam Fisher game.
Oh yeah, it's a whole carrot on a stick thing. It's a whole carrot on a stick.
And you know what? And I'd even go as further to say, like, Tom Clancy hasn't peaked since Splinter Cell. Like that had one of the best stealth mechanics I've ever seen in a game. Better than Hitman personally, because it was arcadey in its own way as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you messed up, it, you could redeem yourself. I think when I used to play it,
you had a
but
bit of
with
a
Hitman,
fallback
I've
almost.
yeah, but I feel like Hitman, once you failed, it's like, well, okay, everyone knows you're there. And it's like, get out of there. It's like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah, it's like you've blown the whole mission. You got to go something different.
Yeah, that's it.
You got to go on a warpath now.
Exactly. But I don't know. It's just a shame like you say, they've just forgotten about that IP. They've just sort of like thrown it away. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, you're sitting on something, Ubisoft. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't forgotten about the IP, but I only say that because they've cashed on it in like mobile games. It's baited it for so long that it's just frustrating at this point. But
and then they like shit out the facts that it's like they've got that they had that Rainbow Six Siege extinction like alien sort of thing. I can't remember.
Was it Extinction or Extraction? Something like that. Anyway, yeah.
Nah, Extraction. Extraction sounds about right. Yeah. And now they're making its own solo game. Well, that's going to be fun for about a week, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just that's not what we wanted. Like, people will play it. We know it. It's easy. It's an easy play. But man, really, did we need? We had that. We had the event on Siege. We could go back to that when you bring back the event. It didn't need to be its own thing. It didn't need to be its own little game. But that's where we're at.
Yeah, Ubisoft seems to be going on a bit of a downturn again. I'm going to be blunt.
They go through phases.
Because they did good with Siege, they do bad with Extify, and now they're doing bad with Assassin's Creed, and then. Yeah, because
how did they do it?